If you think this is going to be an easy fight for Tony Ferguson, my friend, you're absolutely wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Ibrahima, aka Bad Guy Ibra, and ladies and gentlemen, UFC 262 is upon us as the former #1 lightweight contender in Tony El Kukui Ferguson will be facing a guy called Dariush, an absolute sensational fight. And I know before we get started, you lot might have the presupposition that Tony Ferguson, this is going to be an easy fight for Tony Ferguson. But if you really pay attention, and I'm not bashing Tony Ferguson, there's a possibility that he could actually win this fight, obviously, just like any fight. But let's just clarify that Tony Ferguson is actually coming from a two-fight losing streak. Essentially, he lost his last two fights. Once against Justin Gaethje, he got dominated essentially standing up, which was essentially his most powerful weapon, is his strikes, obviously, and his ground game as well. And then got absolutely dominated by Charles Oliveira, who's also fighting Michael Chandler in this card, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm so pumped up, I'm so excited. But don't get too excited though. Don't just assume that Tony Ferguson is going to win. But let me explain why I think Ferguson could win this fight, but why personally I think that it's going to be a lot harder than you sitting there might think. You're just sitting thinking that he's going to win. But hear me out, yeah? So Tony Ferguson, amazing fighter, high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but the guy he's facing is called Beneil Dariush. He's an Iranian American, right? The guy, I've watched him fight. His previous fight was against Diego Ferreira, but before he had one of the best fights in the UFC against a guy called Drakkar Klose, which was just an absolute fantastic fight, mate. You have to watch that fight against Drakkar Klose on UFC Fight Pass. Absolutely sensational. The fight started beautiful actually, and during the first round, Dariush took him down and jumped on his back and kind of was looking for a rear naked choke, and he literally tried that throughout the round. He failed, but he was really close to the submission. But then he got rocked by Drakkar Klose, which he nearly finished him. But as he was rushing in, because Dariush is a southpaw, which makes him very lethal, especially with that straight left coming backwards, the rear hand, he caught him hook, and Drakkar Klose was wobbly, and he finished him. And he just shows Dariush's mental fortitude and toughness. I mean, his losses in the UFC came against really big stars such as Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa is, I mean, we all know Michael Chiesa to be a really tough adversary, and he also had a loss against Alexander Hernandez, who's also a contender in the UFC's 155-pound division. So this guy's actually tough. He's a southpaw, and most importantly, he's a high level black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So don't count him out. Don't count him out. But fortunately, Tony Ferguson might think there's going to be an easy fight. So the trash talk was just there. Tony Ferguson insulted him and used the F word against him and all of that. So that's fine. And he said that Michael Chandler had what it's called the Dana White privilege, which is essentially the contributing factor to why he is fighting for the title. Which to an extent I agree with, but listen, we don't want to get too political right now anyway. But Tony Ferguson's best weapon is his grappling, but then his opponent is also a high-level black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we are going to see whose Jiu-Jitsu is essentially more going to be more effective in the fight in itself. Is it going to be Dariush's high-level Jiu-Jitsu, or is it going to be Tony Ferguson's? And we see Ferguson as being very, very unorthodox in his striking. This might essentially be to his advantage, but it might cost him a lot as well, to be honest, especially his fighting a southpaw. And Dariush is very powerful. He has a decent right hook and also has a powerful left hand coming from essentially, you know, swinging. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting bout, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Ferguson, Beneil Dariush, UFC 262 co-main event. And then you've got the main event. Michael Chandler is going to be facing Charles Oliveira for the UFC's lightweight championship of the world, 155 pounds, because the belt was actually vacated by the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, who obviously retired after beating Justin Gaethje at UFC. Can't remember the actual number, but yeah, absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. With UFC 262, Beneil Dariush versus Tony El Kukui Ferguson, co-main event of the evening. And in a sense, because it's not a title fight, but if we really pay attention, honestly, we all know that that fight could actually be the main event. Me, you, just like communicating right now, that fight could be the main event because, you know, it's El Kukui Ferguson, but the only problem is that he had lost his last two previous fights, but don't count him out. But what I'm also saying is that do not negate the fact that Beneil Dariush is going to be a top contender. He is. He has wins against Michael Johnson, Drew Dober, and twice against Diego Ferreira. So this guy is actually the guy. This guy is a tough adversary, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a really good fight, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, Dana White, because there was a press conference essentially, which took place, I think it was yesterday, and Tony Ferguson, you know, was having a go at Michael Chandler, and as I've mentioned, he did state that he had Dana White privilege, and essentially, I don't know, because we're not trying to get too political, but does Dana White privilege exist in the UFC? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Dana White privilege exists in the UFC? I mean, I'll leave that to you lot in the comment sections, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I appreciate you lot taking the time watching this video, to be honest. Make sure smash the like button down below, comment and subscribe if your notification bell's turned on. And you know, it is just amazing, to be honest. It's just amazing that the UFC is bringing these events for us. And soon we're going to get the bout that we've all been waiting for, the notorious Conor McGregor versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier 3, and Marvin Vettori and Israel Adesanya is coming up for the undisputed UFC middleweight championship of the world, boys and girls. This is just absolutely fantastic. I'm just so pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm just so pumped. Like, you know, it's just amazing, boys and girls. It's just amazing. And as I've mentioned, we've also got a contender in Yuri Prohashka from Czech Republic, an absolutely sensational fighter. And then you've got Jan Blachowicz in the light heavyweight division, who's going to be facing Glover Teixeira soon as well. So this is the best time to live in as a UFC fan. If you don't agree with me, I'm flying. Here I am. Okay, literally, it's the best time to live in as a UFC fan. So ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, you know, click the 2 videos down there. You know, they're right here, so hopefully I'm getting it right. Comment and subscribe, and until next time, have yourselves a fantastic day.